Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I already told you guys I have a cold. Yeah, so I sound like, I've been playing a trumpet or something. By the way, I don't even know how that's supposed to sound like. I don't play a trumpet. I talk too much. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in June. I actually read, I think, 16 books or something. I don't know. We're going to count after this. Yeah. So the first book I read is The X Talk. I read the physical copy, but I don't have it anymore because I gave it away. So this one is about these two people that work on the radio, and on this radio that they work, they kind of need to come up with an idea to save their job because they're going to be fired if they cannot produce a worthy kind of production. And this particular girl wants to be on air, but she believes that her voice is bad. And then there's this guy that is supposed to be a rival. So the two of them come up with an idea where, she came up with that idea where exes will just come up on air and talk to people, give people advice, and explain why their relationship never worked. So everybody now notices that these people are always bickering. So they are perfect. They could pass as exes because they're always fighting. They never agree on anything at all. So that's what the story is about. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was, funny. It was also nice seeing them fall in love when they're supposed to be hating each other. But I just felt like there are some parts that were so too cheesy, like where towards the end, basically. I'm not going to say more than that because I don't want to spoil it, but it was a very, very fun read. I gave it a 3.75 star. The next book I read was on my Kindle, and this is my beloved Kindle. It's titled Little Stranger. Oh my god. This is a taboo romance between a boy and a girl. They are step siblings, okay? Step brothers and sister. That's why I said it's forbidden. So they're not supposed to be in love with each other or anything. And this relationship started from when they were young. The boy is a little bit psychotic, and the girl, their father and their mother, they are foster children. They're not even from the same family. So that kind of vibe. I enjoyed it. Oh my god, I would call this book a guilty pleasure because maybe I have something wrong with me. But then I just didn't like the repetitive fact of, he's my brother. I'm in love with my brother. I want to have sex with my brother. I just felt like it was not. We already established that fact. We already established that fact. So there was no need for you to keep telling us almost every time that, is it right for me to fall in love with my brother? But then I loved Malachi. Okay, yeah, he's psychotic, but I still loved him. I have a problem. I gave this book 4 stars. Malachi was this kind of guy that you belong to me right from when he was a child. Like, he was like, she's mine. And he's a bad boy because he doesn't think rightly. And he has this condition where they are very possessive. Oh, God. I don't know what's wrong with me and English today. By the way, I gave it 4 stars. I already said that. The next book I read was Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This, let's say, it was just like every other book I've read. Okay, so this girl, it's age gap. This girl loves this guy. This guy is our brother's best friend, and he sees her as a baby, like, yeah, a child. Come on, get out of here. Kind of. Ooh. Okay, Jesus. This was a very great save. Like I was saying, so he's older than her, but in my own opinion, I felt like she was the one who knew what she wanted, and she was just going for it. He kept on rejecting her, and this girl was dog-headed. She still kept on coming back. I love you. I in my review I said, how many times do you have to be rejected for you to get it into your skull that he does not want you, kind of vibe? But then again, he wants her. I just thought that it's not appropriate for them to date. I liked every other thing around. I loved the old vibe. It's a summer vibe at the beach and everything. Our brother was getting married to another girl. The relationship was sweet. It's just a simple read that you can just brush through. So I gave this a 3 stars. The next book I read was A Discovery of Witches. Okay, and I heard that this is the book 1. Guys, I am not continuing this series. I love I love cozy fantasies and cozy books, but this was just borderline boring, and it felt like a lot was happening, but nothing was really happening. So it's about this particular witch. Her parents died. So there's also in this community there are witches, there are demons, and then there are vampires. And there's a particular book, Ashmole 182 or 186, I don't know. This book is the book that tells them about their origin, where they're from, and all. And so one day she goes to the library. She's actually sworn herself that she doesn't want to use her magic. She doesn't want to use any of her powers. So she never trained. She's inexperienced. She's like a walking time bomb, basically. So one day she calls up this book, and she called up a book, and then that was the book that came, and she was able to break the seal. So it's like, how, which they still didn't even explain in this book. So then the vampires were after her, but Matthew, which is a vampire, fell in love with her instead, and he's a vampire, so, and they don't mix. So this is how their relationship is. I felt like it's like the relationship progression self was just like you blinked, because now he's after her asking about the book, and then the next minute she's following him on a date to a yoga class. That's besides the point. Also, it involves a lot of history, because he's a vampire, so he has lived for years and years. I enjoyed it, but I just felt like it's something that I just listen to and sleep off kind of vibe. So I gave this a 2.5 stars. Yeah, the next book I read, or I decided to DNF, was The Sundown Motel. I read it on my Kindle. I started this book in May, but I was like, I'll get back to it. I didn't, and I'm going to explain why. I didn't continue because I felt like, first of all, I don't like ghost stories. So all these ghost stories where somebody's closing the door, who is closing the door, who is opening it, I didn't like it. So, and also the fact that this is about this girl that decides to go and look for her aunt. She doesn't have a relationship with this aunt, but when her aunt went missing, she went to her mother and she was like, "Mother, this person is missing." Oh, and mother was just kind of indifferent about the whole situation. And then her mother died some years later, so she decides to go and look for this aunt, or to discover what exactly happened to this aunt. Why is she missing, or why was she missing? Of course, she's been dead, sure, but why? So she goes. I'm like, first of all, you don't have this kind of connection with this person. Is it because you are obsessed with true crime that you're now gonna be doing this one? So I DNF'd. And another reason why I DNF'd was because the POV for the aunt that was missing and the girl's POV was kind of similar, and so felt repetitive. So that's why I DNF'd it. The next book I read was The Banker, The Dictator, and The Tyrant. The Banker I gave 4.5 stars, The Dictator 4 stars, and The Tyrant 1.5 stars. That's the worst book ever. Because in The Banker, so it's about this particular girl. Her father was kidnapped. Will I say kidnapped? Adult napped. Because he actually was doing business with the wrong set of people. So he was going to be killed, so they now come to her and kidnap her and tell her that, oh, we have your father, so to save your father, we want you to go and get this particular man for us, the banker. This man that is the banker is very rich, but not just rich, he has influences, like he's like the Oga of the underworld kind of vibe, and they've been trying to get him, but they don't get him. And one thing about this guy is he loves having a threesome, so she tries to save her father by actually getting him, and she decides to try this, but nothing was working. She didn't even know that he lost threesomes until one day, she finally gets his attention, and then she now noticed that there are 3 on the bed. Like, what the fuck? So she just walked out on him, and you know how men like this are. They're like, what am I missing? I must be missing something for like, I never had that kind of. So it was so nice seeing her resist him and everything. So I fell in love with that. Only for book 3 to turn to something else, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I enjoyed the story, to be honest. It was very fast paced, and it's supposed to even be one book in my own opinion. I really, really loved it. The book 1 and the book 2, perfect. But the book 3, don't waste your time. Ignore that shit. Yeah. The next book I read was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was I gave it 4 stars. This is about this particular girl. She's an introvert. she's a scientist. One day she takes this opportunity and gets employed in NASA, and she has a family, her sister, her niece that she takes care of. The only thing I didn't like is the fact that she was too walk overy. Like, her sister walks over her, and she's the kind of person that is a people pleaser. She would say no, or I mean, she'll say yes even though she's supposed to say no, that kind of thing. And also, it's queer, so this relationship was not really accepted, most especially working in NASA, that kind of vibe. So, and also being the fact that in that era, women were not really accepted into this kind of places, but later they get accepted. So we just see her battle with that. Another thing that I did not really enjoy about this book was the whole thing that was happening in space was like, we're not having it in flashback kind of vibe. So everything that was happening in space, in my own opinion, would have been avoided if these people were really, really professionals. Like, there are safety precautions to go through and all, but why do you think that you can just do that? Aside that, I loved how God was described. I love a lot of things about the book, so that's why I gave it 4 stars. Honestly, it's worth the read. The next book I read was Pen Pal on my Kindle. This, I thought it was by J.T. Geinser, I think. I thought it was a dark romance because I needed smut. Only for me to get into the book and realize that it's not a dark romance. It is like a thriller, paranormal, spicy thriller, because the sex was a lot. Okay, so it's about this woman that her husband dies. So she starts to, so many things were happening in her house, and then she is so confused, like, what is happening? Then she starts to fall in love with the contractor that she gets to fix something in the house and all that. But the plot twist was so mind-blowing. Honestly, there's no way to explain this. I know for a fact you have to read this book and then you form your own opinion, because you will enjoy it. The plot twist was just, I was shocked. But I did like the fact that it was so freaking paranormally, with the ghost and everything. So I gave it a 3.5 stars. I think I was close to giving it a 4 stars because, the romance thing. But there was also a ridiculous part that happened at the end where they were like, boo. Okay, I love the book too. It was not bad. Oh, the next book I read was The Ministry of Time. Yes, this book was a very nice read. If you like, would have been a very nice read if you like sci-fi and all that. I would say this is my first sci-fi read ever. But then again, I also went into this book thinking it was something, but it was not that. I went into it thinking it was about, okay, so this is what it's about. It's about an organization. This organization, they have the time traveling machine. So they went back into the past and they bring people that were in the past, they bring them to the future and try to acclimatize them to our current, to civilization and everything, and see and monitor how well they would, survive, kind of vibe. So I was told that the lady in charge of the guy, they fall in love. So, that kind of thing. But please, it was more history, more a lot of things that I don't understand. It was just going here-ness and there-ness, and this person, this person is this, and please. So I didn't really enjoy it. I gave it a 2 stars. Yeah. The next book I read was on my Kindle. It was The Little Prince. This is like a childish kind of book, but at the same time, not really, because it's kind of a way of showing how life operates, but through a child's eyes. But at the same time, it's important. Honestly, I feel like I don't really understand this book, but at the same time I understood everything, and I really, really want to read it again. I gave it 4 stars. It's about this man that was traveling, and then he meets a prince, a small prince, and this prince is like a child, and he shows this prince a picture, and the picture looks like an hat to adults, but to kids it look like a boa swallowed by a python or an anaconda or something. So it just sheds more light into how everybody looks at things, perspectives basically. I really enjoyed it, but at the same time I was reading it again. It was very fast too. Yeah. The next book I read was Physical. It was this one, And So I Roll by B. Ray. If you've read The Girl with the Louding Voice, which is the book one, that one had a very, very difficult to read writing style because it was written in Pidgin English, and of course I know Pidgin English, but it's just so hard to kind of read it and flow. But yeah, so in that book we follow Aduni, how she runs away because of what happened, and now she's in Lagos City. So here we see her with Tia. Tia is the lady that tries to help her from Big Madam. Okay, so I love this book. At the same time, I kind of like feel like I gave it 4 stars, by the way. So here she's now going to school. She's about to start school, but something happens where they come to take her back to the village, and she decides, I'm going to clear my name and yada yada yada. So Tia follows her, and we now start to see some in-depth into Tia's life. What happened to her? Why does she hate her mother? And then Aduni is placed with some girls, and we go into their lives, and you start to feel for them. I felt for every single character. At the same time, I just like, like even Aduni's mother, you understand so many things. It's so freaking good. And then Aduni starts to write a book, something called The Book of Life or something. I really enjoyed this, okay? I think it's a good book. 4 stars. Perfect book. I loved it, but it's just that I felt kind of, I'm into everybody's business, but at the same time, it was enjoyable. The next book I read was Confessions. It's a thriller. I read this on my Kindle. It's about this particular teacher that decides to teach students a lesson because one of them may or may not have killed a daughter. It's crazy because in this book you see everybody's perspective. You see the teacher's perspective. You see the killer's perspective and the other people's perspective, and the end was like, what the fuck is this book that makes me realize that people are monsters. Yeah. The last not the last book. The next book I read was this, If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I did not read. I tried to read it, so I got to page 77 and decided that it's not my kind of thing. I just have to let it go. This book is about, if you like Shakespeare, you would enjoy this. So it's about this particular set of people. They are in the theater world, so they, act, and their spoken English is amazing. I really love it. I love this part. But the part that I did not like is where they start to quote Shakespeare. Because I've never read any Shakespeare book in my life. So why am I here trying to understand what you are saying, or when you are linking me to Shakespeare? Because you just be talking, they will just be having a normal conversation, and then the next thing, Shakespeare would be quoted, and I'm like, who the flip is this? I don't know Macbeth and all those people. So yeah, I know I was so excited when I bought this book. I was so excited when I picked it on my TBR, but oh god, it was a letdown. TNF'd it. Yeah, the last book I read was Hopeless by Elsie Silva. This is, I think, the last book in the Chestnut Spring series. I gave this a 3 stars. It's Bo's story. I kind of skipped the 3rd book, so I came back here and I'm like, okay. I went back to read the 3rd book, which is Powerless, and I think that's my favorite book, and I think that's the only copy I'm going to be keeping for myself, because this one, well, it was nice, but just normal, like nothing special. So Bo comes back from the military. He went through a traumatic period, and then there's this particular bartender, I think her name is Bailey or something like that, and both of them decides to fake date because Bailey's family has a very bad reputation in that Chestnut Spring, while Bo Eaton, they have a very good reputation. So, and he starts to fall in love with her, and so they decide to fake engage, not just fake date, they fake engage, and things happen from there. Everything that was just happening was just so, predictable and all, but yeah, it was just a nice story if you want to relax and have fun and all. So that's all. 3 stars. These are all the books I read. Honestly, it was so freaking fun. I enjoyed reading. I had a lot of fun. I was able to immerse myself in these worlds. Reading, yeah, I didn't get any 5 stars, but I'm not so sad about that. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.